our podcast wouldn't be complete without me asking you about sourcing. Obviously, not who you're speaking to, but you're speaking to the police, you're speaking to the underworld, you're going to court cases. Are you triangulating all of that? You've already mentioned this fascinating sense, which I think occurs in other countries too, but may well be specific to some of the people you're dealing with, where criminal figures approach you and you've got to filter that out. Give a sense of the sourcing on a book like this.
I suppose a book like that, I mean, I'm nearly 30 years working in this business, so I have built up, trusted contacts over those years. A trusted contact is somebody whose story proves maybe to be true again and again and again, and that's how you kind of have to build that, both within the sort of the legitimate world plus the underworld. So of course I will speak to, sometimes I'm quite fascinated myself with people who are speaking to me or just can't believe they're speaking to me, and it sometimes can take years, or maybe with age they mellow a bit and they kind of want to come and give information for whatever reason. But it's fascinating. It took me a long time to, and of course I approach people myself, but it took me a long time to realize, because you'd always be a little bit wary of going to meet somebody. And the best place to meet an underworld source is in an airport. Of course, nobody can bring a gun through an airport, and it's just a safe place to go. But it took me ages to realize the penny dropped eventually. It's more dangerous for them than it is for me, actually, because of course, while many things have changed, the overriding sense of omerta, and that you never speak and you never tout and you never rat, and it would be seen as that. People talk, criminals talking to journalists. While some might be sanctioned by their umbrella organisations, many aren't. But yeah, it took me a while to realise how much danger they're putting themselves in case they were seen or in case it was found out, how much trust they're putting in me.
And why do they, is a question I guess I have my own answers to, but why do they talk? Okay, planting stories is one thing, but more generally, why do people in the criminal milieu talk?
I suppose ego is one reason, and some of them kind of do like a little bit of publicity for whatever reason they do. They used to say the newspaper I worked for, Sunday World, was very full of crime stories. They used to call it the Hello magazine of the criminal underworld. Yeah, some of them just have a gripe with somebody or some sort of an underlying complaint that they have. A lot of them have a complaint about the state, and why don't the police go after the corrupt politicians and the bankers? And sometimes when you listen to them,
they have a good perspective.
They have quite a good point, like, in fairness, they do. I don't know. I think some of them might be slightly interested in why I'm interested as well. I wouldn't be sort of from that world or of that world, and yet, and sometimes they want to tell me that I've got something goddamn wrong, and they want to set me straight, or sometimes they don't like a photograph that's been used of them. They're humans, and all the same emotions, really. Well, most of the same emotions are going around with them, and vanities and egos and all the rest of that. I find overall people who are involved in criminality, I often question why they don't just retire. They've made enough money, time to get out. And I actually think they're addicted to the crime. They're addicted to getting one over on the authorities and, rivals, and they can never get out of it because it's just a lifestyle nearly.